Okay, here is IJMB 2021 physics. Now look at that very part I was rushing you. Please don't be offended. Check the course file and you get an explanation to this. Look at the question here. At section A, a ball is dropped from the hand, falls to the ground and bounces back up and down with decreasing velocity. Draw a velocity time graph of its motion. Using this graph, state how the distance the ball fall and rise can be found. Now look at this other question. With the aid of a good sketch of velocity time graph of a ball starting from rest and attains a final velocity, it keeps this velocity constant for a time before coming to rest in a given time. Explain how to determine acceleration of the body total distance traveled by the body. Please check that at the course file. But for now, let's dive into our blackboard and solve other relevant questions as pertaining equation of motion and projectile motion. Okay, as relating to the other one, I told you if you are given a question that has to do with it or so thereby. Now look at this question. An object falls from rest. Take note, from rest, it means where it's coming from, it's zero. Anything rest is starting from a 0 point. Okay. Find the distance traveled of the at the 8 seconds of its motion, and the time here is 8. So how do we then find the distance? Now let's look at this. S is equals to, let's look at this equation of motion, ut plus half, okay, at square. But what we are dealing with, es is equals to ut minus half gt square. Is an equation due to gravity, and g is given as this. Now take note, it's going to be plus gt square. Okay, it's not going to be minus half gt square. So take note, when an object is going against motion, it's a negative sign. When an object is falling freely, okay, it is a positive. So this an object falls from rest. From rest, it means its initial velocity is 0. So we say s is equals to 0 times t plus, okay, 0 times 8 plus half gt square. So 0 times 8 is 0. So s becomes, for x8, s is equals to what? Half, because this one is automatically 0, half times 10 times 8 square. And we're going to have s8 as half times 8 square is what? Let's look at our calculator. 8 square, 8 multiplied by 8, you get, sorry, this is not the correct thing. 8 multiplied by 8. 8 multiplied by 8, 64. So it's going to be 64. 10 times 64. So 10 times 64 is going to be what? Let's still pop out our calculator. 10 times 64. 10 times 64 is going to give us 640. So x8 is equals to half times 640. So 2 cancel here, 1. 2 divided by 640 is going to give us 320. So x8 now is 320 meter. Now I told you the formula for finding this kind of distance is equals to x8 minus s7. Okay, so let's find for x7. x7 automatically is equals to plus half gt square. Now don't forget that the t here is 0, is 7 for x7. So s is equals to half times, okay, 10 times 7 square. 7 square should be 49. Half times 10 times 49. So 49 times 10 is going to give us 490. So s equals to half times 490 divided by 2. S is equals to 490 divided by 2. Let's say that s is equals to 245 now. 245. 245 meter. So we have gotten for x7. So from the formula, s is equals to x8 minus s7. We now see 320 meters. minus 245 meters, which is going to give us, which is going to end up and give us 75 meter. So I hope this, when you have a question like this, you should not be confused. Let's look at another example. So a body with an initial velocity, take down the parameters, initial velocity 40 meter per second. Okay, accelerate at 5 meter per second square. Accelerate at 5 meter per second square. Find the distance. Find the distance if it cover, find the distance it cover at this time, and the time is given as what, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So we look at the equation of motion. We have v is equals to u plus at. We look at v square is equals to u square plus 2as. We look at s is equals to ut plus half at square. Now we look at it. There is no s here, so this one cannot work. There is no t here, there is no time here, so this one cannot work. But here there is s, there is t, there is u, and there is a. So the third equation can work. The second equation of motion can work. So we say s is equals to ut plus half at square. So we're looking for s. So s equals to u is what, 40, multiply the time is what, 2, plus half times acceleration is given as 5 meter. Acceleration is given as 5, and the time is given as 2 square. So we can now say s equals to 2 times 40 is going to give us 80 plus half times 5. 2 square is going to give us 4. 5 times 4 is going to give us 20. So s equals to 80 plus half times 20. So 2 divided 7, 2 divided 10. So we discover that s is equals to 80 plus what, 10, which is going to give us what, 80 plus 10, which is going to give us 90. I hope what I am doing here is correct. 5 times 4, 20. Okay, divide 2. 8 plus is going to give us, s is going to give us 90 meter. Let's look at the next question. If an object of displacement s is equals to 150 meter and in 15 seconds. If an object makes a displacement of 150 meter in 15 seconds, find the average velocity. Velocity is given. So velocity is change in displacement over time. So velocity becomes, displacement is 150 divided by what, the time is what, 15, which is going to give us what, 10 meter per second. But average velocity is equals to what, is equals to 10 divided by 2. So average velocity then is, if find its average velocity, is going to 5 meter per second. Now let's look at the next question. I'll be using two methods to solve this problem. So when the brakes of a car traveling at 20 meters per second is applied, the car comes to rest uniformly in 5 seconds. Find the distance covered by the car before coming finally to rest. Now let's take the parameters. When the brake of a car traveling at its initial velocity is 20 meters per second is applied, the car comes to rest. To rest, it means it stopped moving and final velocity becomes 0 meter per second uniformly in 5 seconds, and the time that happened was 5 seconds. Find the distance covered, okay, before finally come to rest. Now we use this formula. S is ut plus half at square. But if you notice, we don't have acceleration here, and acceleration is what, change in velocity over time. So acceleration becomes v minus u over t. So acceleration is then 0 minus 20 divided by what, 5. So we now got acceleration as minus 5, which is a proof that there was a deceleration. It finally comes to rest, 5 meter per second square. Now we can substitute in here. So s is equals to u as 20 multiplied by the time is what, 5, minus, acceleration now is no more a plus sign, it's a negative sign here, negative half times 5, okay, that is acceleration, times the time is what, given as what, 5 square. So s is equals to 20 times 5 minus half times 5 times, okay, half times 5. This time is 4 seconds, not 5 seconds. Please, let's see how we can correct this. So I mean to say the acceleration is 4 meter per seconds, not 5. 20 divided by 5 here 1, 5 here is 4. So acceleration here is 4. Please, let's take note of this correction. Acceleration is 4 meter per second times 5 square. Sorry, I was 2 on his. So s is equal to 2 times 5, 20 times 500 minus 2 divided is 7. 2 divided is going to be 2. It's going to be minus 1 times 2 times 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so it's going to be s is equals to 100 minus 2 times 25. It's going to 2 times 25 is going to give us 50. So s becomes 50 meter. Method 2, let's look at a velocity time graph. A velocity time graph. Okay, this car was traveling and it get to a velocity, was traveling at this velocity of 20 meter per second. Okay, it was moving, moving. Then the brakes were now applied and it finally came to rest. And v here becomes 0. But here is u. We trace u here. It was 20. It was traveling at 20 before it finally came to rest. Now, if you notice, this is the last phase. This is the first phase of the travel. Second phase. This is the last phase. Now, we say that finding this, we bring this out. This is how it is. And we have v here to be 0, and the time here, this is the velocity time, the time it took to come to rest is 5 seconds. So at here is 5 seconds. At this place, u is 20 seconds. This is u, travel to this point. So we say that s is half base times height. So s is equals to half times the base is 5 seconds times the height is 20 meter per second. Remember, 20 meter per second. So when we do this, we have that s is equal to 5 times 20 is 100. So it's going to be half times 100, and 2 divided by itself 1, 2 divided here 50. S is now 50 meter, and it has aligned with this answer. Let's look at another question.